Hi beautiful souls, this is Sadhana. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing another deck combo video and we're going to have a look at a few Marseille and Non-Scenic pip decks and pair them with suitable oracle cards. This was a requested video from a viewer and the question was, how do you pair pip decks with oracle decks? And I guess the answer is exactly the same as scenic pips. It has to do with coloration, it has to do with theme, energy, all that kind of stuff. So this is the box for the Marshmallow Marseille. It's by the Wandering Oracle. It is an indie deck, really reasonably priced deck. So if you are looking for something a little different and at a reasonable price, this is a great option. And I'm going to pair it today with Victoria Mosley's Vintage Wisdom Oracle. And that has to do with kind of the energy of the cards, really. I have been looking for oracle decks to pair with Marseille decks for some time. And there's a lot of more antique-y, antique tarot decks than there are oracle decks. So to find antique kind of, oracle decks is a little more challenging. I know there's a few out there, and most of them have been around for a while. So as with my other videos, I don't have a set order of which card I pull first, but the reason for having the oracle card, one oracle card and two tarot cards, is the oracle card speaks to, it kind of gives us a general theme for the reading, and then the tarot cards are going to give us more information. And for me, a 3-card reading is absolutely sufficient. If you don't have Marseille decks and you don't read Marseille, and you are looking for a way, a kind of a path in, a place to begin, I would really recommend Tom Benjamin's book, Tarot on Earth. It's more of it's a very practical, workbooky kind of book, and it gives you some really great exercises in trying to kind of figure out how you're going to work with Marseille decks. There is no right way to work with them. As you know, these came, they were used for games, for playing cards, and they were not used for divination. Numerology is entirely an option. You do not have to be an expert in numerology to read Marseille. It really is up to you how you're going to deal with this. As with all tarot decks, when I have people in the decks, I look to facings, because facings can be really important. Here we have the King of Pentacles. His face, look at this, his body is pointing towards the back of this woman, but his face is looking away, which is really kind of unusual. It's kind of an unusual body posture. It looks like he's very kind of confused about the relationship with this person here. And so we want to look to the pip over here to kind of figure out what this is all about. And here we have a 7, and we have a 7 of Pentacles. And so whatever's going on between these two, for this 7, it's really about taking time to work this through. If there is difficulty in this relationship, I would say, fine, give yourself some space, or give yourself some time more than anything to work through whatever it is you need to work through. If you need to do some journaling, if you need to go away for separate weekends, that's fine. But this is definitely a card that's still, very much of growth. What if we look to the little details in the pip deck? What if we look to the beauty of, the amount of potential that's still here? We have all of these pentacles. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the pentacles have the green plant kind of around them, and then these 2 pentacles are kind of joined together, and then we have one here that's on its own. And you can kind of read into you know, that information as well too. So we have lots of options here, right? There's an opportunity to, you know, go off by yourself, to stay together, to continue growing together. But to me, this feels like something that just needs a little tweaking. And yeah. And I think these two decks work really well together. So then we have Harmony. And this is kind of a fun picture. She's got a really beautiful expression on her face. She is, if you look at her eyes, she's looking up towards the night sky. She's looking up toward the birds. And there really is a sense of, what can I say, unity. So perhaps in my imagination, she's hearing the sound of the birds and is kind of amazed what is happening between the sound of the birds and the sound that she's making with her musical instrument. Okay, and then we add the valet de bâton, so the page of batons, to this reading. He has his face looking in toward the woman who's playing the harp or the harpsichord, I'm not sure what it is. And her focus is up in the stars. And remember, this suit, this fiery suit, is very much, of course, sexuality comes up, risk-taking, adventure. And so because of the general energy of the upper portion of this card, I'm thinking that this is very much a card about a new adventure, a new beginning, possibly together, even romantically or at least sexually. There's this kind of you know, that kind of energy when you meet somebody when you're on vacation, that kind of feels like it. So if you were about to take off on a new adventure, a new vacation, that feels like, you know, definitely a possibility and potential. And here we have a 3. So we have a 3 and looking to, you know, we have 1 plus 1 is 2, and the 2 together with the potential of making, you know, the 3. Perhaps, you know, on your vacation, you are going to meet someone and you will get together, get married, and have a baby. I mean, we could go that way, but there's lots of different ways, of course, to bring out this energy of the 3. What are we going to do with a non-scenic pip card? So we can look to whatever your, for me, this was always about divinity. The 3s, this is the first completion in the minors. So this is a sense of, so we have that. We have the first completion, a small completion. So you go on this adventure with this woman and you kind of, you know, you feel for the first time that you're in a positive relationship. This has also the 3s very much about growth. So if you're looking to, you know, pregnancy or growth of a business, working together. Maybe this musical, dreamy, starry-eyed woman is exactly who you need to be your mentor to work with you on this new project. And then so you come together and you create something greater than you possibly could have with the 2 of you. And maybe there'll even be a 3rd person that comes into, you know, the energy of your project. So just, I don't know, it's these are just stories for me, and it's all about becoming a confident and imaginative and good storyteller. And I forgot to say, if your querent does not ask a question, well, then you just have to kind of go for it. But it is always going to be a more effective and direct, easier, to the point kind of reading if your querent asks a question. Here we have a super colorful card at the top. We have a lot of butterflies. The keyword is expression. And I'm looking at this upside down. It looks like the eyes are looking at me. Sorry, I'm just going to turn it over. That's really cool. So she has, it looks like her face is in the water almost, but looking at it upside down is a completely different perspective. So there's a sense of, with this card, with like almost like new vision. So very much hanged man kind of energy, kind of, yeah. And through taking time with the energy of the hanged man kind of energy, we come to a new idea of how we're gonna move forward with something. So here we have the 8 of Cups, which is a very balanced, harmonious kind of 8 in it's a very balanced, harmonious number in the Marseille. We have a 3-2-3. None of the cups are sideways. Everything kind of sits evenly on the card. There's still quite a bit of spaciousness. And for sure, I always think about work and dedication and things like that, but we are looking to cups, so we're looking to emotions and intuition. And also I always go with, we got to check in with divine feminine energy, everything that is associated with the element of water, as well as in particular the suit of cups. And so, where are you going to go with this? And remember, this is a Marseille deck, so I'm not looking to Rider-Waite-Smith 8 of Cups, which is about leaving and going away. This is something quite different. If you want to read Marseille as Rider-Waite-Smith, then you need to commit to that. And so you're just using a non-scenic pips as, as a variation of that. But if you're going to work with numerology and work with a Marseille deck in a more true to the numbers and elements kind of way, this is nothing to do with, nothing to do with the typical person leaving the scene. It's been too much and they're walking away from something. Right? So just look at the balance here. It's very, there's been a lot of effort put in to stack the cups this way. Nothing is spilt over. And like I said, there's still a sense of spaciousness, very much still a sense of growth, and lots of energy in this card. We can also look to, I said commitment, hard work, that kind of stuff, but with relationship. So there's been a commitment to relationship. And I get the feeling with this card here that she's really, because she is appears, to me, this looks like she's underwater here, or she's looking behind a vase from a new perspective. There is definitely, if the question was, is she going to leave me? The answer is no. She's doing her very best to look at this, to give this relationship everything that she has, and she's really committed and working hard to that. And here we have the Queen of Wands, which, let's just go with that question: is she going to leave me? The answer is no. She's trying to recharge the sexual energy of your relationship. She's really, really fiery, and so if you have not been, putting attention to that aspect of your relationship, she, and I'm using the pronoun she, but it doesn't necessarily have to be she, is, she's ready to try something new. She's ready to transform that aspect of your relationship. So put in some commitment to that. And then let's just have a look at her body language. She's not looking, she's kind of looking straight ahead, and the expression on her face is kind of forlorn. So perhaps this is you, the querent, and the querent is kind of giving up hope. Look at the very typical Queen of Wands with the legs open, right? So the sexual energy here is, and look at the baton is coming straight out of here, out of her pubis, right? So I'm going to stick with that, and I'm going to say give this relationship more gusto in the sex department. So how about that? Okay, let's have a look at another one. So that's the Marshmallow Marseille and the Vintage Wisdom Oracle. Marseille decks. If you saw the last video that I did, I included one of Patrick Valenza's decks. And if you like his artwork, and this is his Marseille deck. So very much same kind of characters from the Asylum, and then the Non-Scenic pips, the Marseille pips are true to Marseille. They just have more of Patrick Valenza. Sorry, there's a glare. Kind of that, you know, like the vines just look a little more scary. And the reason I referred to the last video was I paired the Deviant Moon Tarot deck with Oracle of Oddities, and I'm just going to do, let's just do one reading because it's basically the same kind of energy. His Marseille deck and the Deviant Moon. And you're going to get lots of information, so I really recommend getting, if you can't, it's a very expensive, his coffee table book, the large book that tells you about his artwork. It is about the tarot deck, Deviant Moon, but it really gives you good background information on the evolution of his art and the asylum and all the background of the stories. I do not have the Mildred Payne or any of his oracle decks, and I'm guessing that they would also work really well with, you know, because they're by the same artist and they have that same kind of energy. But Oracle of Oddities is going to work really well. And like I mentioned, Claire Goodchild, so blackandthemoon.com. She is coming, there's another deck very similar to this one because this one is out of print. This pile is really high because I've put together all 3 of the Oracle of Oddities decks. I've taken out the duplicate cards and I've also taken out the chakra cards. So here we have voice, and there is something growing very energetically, quickly. There's a fast growing vine coming out of the mouth. So this tells me this is voice in a transformative stage. Right? So this is we're kind of past the challenge, and there is a clearing in the throat chakra. You're beginning to learn to speak authentically and to be yourself, and you are growing, you know, in this regard. And then we have the High Priestess. So this is a really nicely so traditionally with the High Priestess, we have a lot of water energy, and in this deck she has some fire around her. We still have the blue, the water represented in the robes, but still this is, you know, different. We never, as far as I know, see fire with the High Priestess. So that's something that you want to speak to. And then we have the Star. So the Star is facing towards the voice is facing towards the High Priestess. And we can go with, you know, all of the associations with this Star. So we have come from the Tower energy, and we are moving forward through the challenges. And like I said, you have moved through your challenges. You're learning to speak your truth. And why is this particular skull facing toward the High Priestess? Well, there is an opportunity now to really learn to not only trust your wisdom, but to speak your wisdom. And I would really encourage you to begin to share publicly whatever it is that, you know, intuitively you have to say with others, because you probably have been working on this for some time and had discounting your ability to speak in a more intuitive, you know, witchy kind of way. I'm going to do another draw. I said I was just going to do one because we didn't get a pip card. And so here we have Awaken. So let's just look to the artwork for a second. And we have, so these two, the face is both looking up. There is connection between them. From their connection, the sunflowers are growing, and we have awareness of the moon. So we have sun and moon. So this is a kind of follow through to the previous reading. There's very much a sense of growth in spirituality. And here we have the Six of Cups, which harkens to what? Harmony. So let's go with straight up Marseille kind of numerology meanings. We'll also have a look at the artwork. But look here in the center, right? So we have this beautiful growing vine here. These faces don't look too scary. They're soft. They're pretty. The potential is growing in both directions. The 6 cups are, excuse me, evenly placed, right? So this is a very, the energy of the 6 of cups is, it's beautiful. So balanced in emotion, balanced in intuition. And so this is a very positive reading so far. And so you should not be, as you begin to understand and explore the importance of the balance between your sun and your moon, it is, what do I want to say? You're going to understand your beauty much better, because this card very much is about beauty to me. And not beauty in a superficial way, but beauty in a very deeply soulful, spiritual way. We have the Hermit here. And the Hermit is in motion. The finger is pointing up. There's a lot of energy here. So we have the light. Instead of a lantern, we have the light coming from the magic of his finger. And this card very much speaks to magic as too. The Hermit is moving in here. And so what I'm going to say about this is that this process is, I would say, more awakening. It is in progress. So continue what you're doing. And if you need to, it's funny how these readings are kind of building up on each other. If you do need to step away and take a little bit of time for yourself, the Hermit rarely has these aha moments. The same with the Hanged Man. These times where you need to come into trust with yourself. We need moments in our day. We need moments in our week, our month, where we can reflect without others around. And it doesn't have to be a long time. You don't have to go away for a month or a year or go to a hermitage, but you do need to, to take those moments. This beauty is definitely unfolding, but there's a sense that it's still developing. So keep going as you are on your path. Okay, let's do one more. And I wanted to do, rather than a Marseille deck, look at a non-scenic pip deck. So I have a few of those in my collection. Here's one. So let's look at the White Sage Tarot. This is the indie version of the deck. There is also a US Games version, and I have a video comparing the two of them. These cards are a little bit bigger. And if you are interested in this deck, the US Games version of the deck comes in a tin, so it's one of those nice small portable decks. And the tarot deck is a little smaller than a standard tarot size. If you are versed in yogic psychology and you have a good grasp of the chakras and you're able to kind of read, chakra cues in the cards, this would be a really good deck for you. You don't have to, but it's there and it's built into the deck, and it does add another layer, and I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. So this is the White Sage Oracle, and this is Teresa Hutch's, same author. This is the White Sage Tarot. This is the Land Sky Oracle. So this is the oracle deck that was created by the same author around the same time exactly to pair with this one. Oh, and I forgot I edged this one in pink. It's so pretty. I will give you one more example after this, because this is kind of one of those pairs that is a no-brainer, I don't think I've included any of those in my videos, but just in case you haven't seen these two decks, we'll do 1 or 2 pulls with this one. Okay. There's a lot of yogic lingo on this deck, and you also need to understand the structure of this deck. And I did do a really thorough video of this oracle deck, so please look back. I'll link it below in the description box. So here we have asana. This is the main card of this suit. So there are several. So asana means posture in yoga. So each of the yogic postures ends with the word asana. So asana actually means seat. So here we have kind of a major card. We have a very mature cow here. So let's kind of go with that energy. I'm going to need something to build on that. We have the Knight of Swords. I'm hoping we get some non-scenic pips here. The Knight of Swords is charging toward this very peaceful looking bull. So this, as a yogic teacher, I totally get this, because there's a lot of Knight of Swords that come to yoga class and have a hard time, because with the Knight of Swords we have way too much vata, too much air energy, and they have a very hard time being still. And here we have this cow being totally still and totally comfortable. And if this is an invitation, or if this knight is actually rushing into yoga class, he's going to have a big surprise, a big awakening. And here we have the King of Wands. So let's just go with the yoga class, right? So let's suppose the querent asked about, you know, taking up yoga and what am I going to discover, or what am I going to find when I come to yoga? And so the King of Wands, lots of fiery energy. In this deck, she has birds for the suit of wands, which for me is quite challenging to read. I would have much preferred birds for the suit of swords, but just be aware of that, okay? Because that's something that in this deck you need to be able to work with. So fiery energy. All right, creative energy, production energy. So what is going to be created? How, you know, these are it's a very masculine reading, and we need to also look to the leadership aspect. My goodness, you know, maybe completely changing your style of living, your style of, you know, for me, yoga is not exercise, but this energy coming into yoga class, he's coming for exercise. So I'm going to use the word exercise because that's usually how he would come into yoga class. He's going to have a rude awakening, but there is potential that you're actually going to really love it and become a yoga teacher yourself. I know that's kind of stretching it there. That was kind of a hard reading. Tadasana. Okay, so this is the yogic posture where you just stand tall, and depending on the school of yoga that you go with, there's a couple different variations on Tadasana. So Tadasana means basically you're just standing tall and straight. Your hands are at your side. And then we have Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is looking away from Tadasana. What do we learn from Tadasana? We learn about security and stability. So it's very much about the root chakra. And here we have Page of Pentacles, which is also about the element of earth. So we're going to be talking about family, stability, balance. So depending on what the querent asked, balance and stability, the focus on family is going to be really important. And here we also have the element of earth. So we can look, of course, to, you know, business, family, anything of this material world. But there's something that in this illustration, you see how it looks kind of stormy? And it's very difficult to find balance when we feel this frustration and this instability and this storminess within our physical and mental and emotional bodies. And the Page of Pentacles is kind of moving away from that in her youth, in her inexperience, and she really needs to be drawn back into this energy and encouraged to not walk away from family or commitment or her roots. Because it is the Page of Pentacles, I really want to kind of speak to that. And over here we have the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so we have 2 plus 2. We have again, you know, that sense of stability. This is not time to leave and to walk away. It's time to turn around and come back and be with those who love you and those who you are, who can support you. Because please don't discount how much you are loved and how much you are cared for. Nourish. So we have an amethyst crystal here. So amethyst, if you know anything about it, is a crystal that's amazing. Sorry, I need a sip of something. Amazing healing energy for healing just about anything. And then we have Four of Cups. Now, in this deck, some of the pips are more illustrated than others. And here we have with the Four of Cups, we have 3 cups pouring into 1. So 3 becoming 1. So there's very much a sense of coming together, right? Very, very different from a traditional Four of Cups. So remember, we're not looking to Rider-Waite-Smith meaning for Four of Cups. We're looking to the energy of the 4, the energy of the suit. So intuition, emotions. We can also have a look at the chakra energy here, which is Swadhisthana, 2nd chakra. And this is your feminine energy, which makes sense for water, for the Suit of Cups. So there is a sense of completion and feeling a heck of a lot better by joining those around you, right? This is very much a sense of not being alone. And you are going to be so nourished, you know, by joining in with others, perhaps. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is another card. It's funny how this goes. This is another card of stay. Stay, don't go. This is a time to take care of yourself. And you can be nourished in the presence of others and allow your emotions to be shared. Okay, this is heart chakra, so green is heart chakra. So this makes, you know, beautiful sense that, you know, with the whole reading. And so you can do, oh my gosh, at least half an hour. I could talk about these 3 cards and why, and how this is related to this, why the sense of stability. Here we have a shovel in the sand that is anchored in the sand, and these sand dollars, you know, have grown on this tree. So these decks do work really well together, but it does help if you know something about the chakra associations and the yogic terms. Forgot how much I enjoy that. Okay, so let's do another non-scenic. So let's go here. So this is the Lumina Tarot. And in the Lumina Tarot, we have most of the pips are non-scenic. We do have a scarab on the 7 of Wands, right? We do have a hand. But this is a little bit like the White Sage Tarot in that you have an option here. You know, of course, if you know Rider-Waite-Smith, you can kind of stick with that energy, but you have the potential to read it in a different way. So we have the dragonfly energy in the 3 of Cups. And even a lot of the majors are, and here we have 8 of Cups, sorry, I was going to say even a lot of the majors don't have a lot of illustration. So this is the 2nd edition of the Lumina Tarot by Laura Naletta, illustrated by Tegan Sweeney. And this is the companion oracle deck, the Connected and Free. I'll just show you the cards. Also illustrated by Tegan. And it is a beautiful, beautiful deck. This is one of my favorite oracle decks. I just pulled it out today. I'm going to take it with me to work today. lots of really interesting keywords, and there's quite a few challenging cards in this Oracle deck as well too. Because this naturally pairs well with the Oracle deck, I'm not going to use it today. So let's use Soul Trees just for fun. So Soul Trees is also an indie deck. The author's name is Allison Williams, and it's available, I believe, through her website, perhaps through her Etsy shop. This deck I've had just for a few months, and really, really happy with this purchase. It pairs well with so many decks. It is not a new deck, just new to my collection. The trees, so definitely have different seasons, so different energies, so you could speak to different suits depending on the seasons. Lots of both positive and more shadowy keywords. You can also work with colors, so if you like to work with color, it's a really colorful deck. And because the colors are similar to the colors in the Lumina Tarot, this is going to definitely bring something out with each reading. Okay, so let's do a couple of pulls here, and then I will wait for your comments, because if you had a particular non-illustrated pip deck that you were looking for pair with and I didn't answer it in this video, let me know and I'll try to find you a pair. So here we have birth, kind of a big word. And also we have the color purple, to me, which speaks of very, higher chakras. So what is going on here? And hopefully we'll pull some pip cards. Oh my God. We have the Empress. Okay, yeah, I think you're going to have a baby. Or yeah, you're going to, the contract for your new job is going to come through and everything's going to be well. Whatever is birthing at this time is coming to fruition. Oh my God. And then we have the Two of Cups. Okay, so super positive reading. I don't think we really need to say anything else. The answer is yes, yes, yes. And if you didn't want this to happen, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. But there we go. Sometimes it's not rocket science. Change. So let's see what's going on here. Look at this shift in color, right? So we had blues and purples in the trunk, and then we have a lot of fire coming out. So the blues or the reds are becoming yellows. Something is really shifting here. Like this is a complete change of energy. So the red and the blue make purple, but we also have this new fiery energy. So something is being developed, something is being created. And I know we just created a baby. So this would indicate a positive change. And then we have the Nine of Wands. So let's look at a more numerological kind of meaning of the Nine of Wands, and also kind of look at the energy of the card. So really fiery energy. We have the color red. We have the color red. Red, root chakra. So we can go to stability, foundation, family, safety, security. Why is there so much energy there? If your question had to do with family, then we really need to explore the question a little more. What does the 9 mean? Well, the 9 is, a bit of uncertainty. There's a final push. We do have the change here. The change is going to be for the positive, or at least you need to stick with it. Remember that the star comes after the tower, and I think that's an important thing to always remember. You've been through the worst of it, but there's still a bit of work to be done in order to, to make this work. I'm going to stick with the family thing because that color red was really, really speaking to me. And what is it, at the level of the root chakra that has caused you to, you know, really kind of hunker down and to initiate this change, because this is a 9. You have not just started working on this. You've been working on this for a while, and now this change is kind of finally coming through. You need to stick with it, because you're not quite there yet. It's not at completion, and there is kind of a sense of there's still a sense of unknown, and it can feel a little volatile. Like, to me, this card feels a little bit out of control. So I want you to do whatever it is you have to do to keep your feet on the ground and to keep that sense of rootedness. Look at this. So this energy is also moving in an upward direction. This one's moving in an upward direction. So we need to do, you know, everything you can to keep your feet on the ground. And I think that's a really important thing at this time. Don't lose sight of the foundation. Sorry, my dog's right beside me. Yeah, but please know that this is moving the right way. Okay, let's do one more, and then that will be, I'll leave it there for today. So we have resistance. So just look at the color of this card, the dark, kind of the gloominess of the energy, but there's still, you know, and there's movement. There's a little bit of green here, which doesn't leave me completely in despair. And then we have the Knight of Cups. The Ouroboros circles around this kind of moon energy, and so this indicates change. There's a real kind of something is shifting with the emotions, and it feels very it feels fluid. It also feels like a lot of potential energy, and there he is facing the resistance. So there has been some resistance to this change. And so again, just like the previous reading, it's really important to take your time in moving through this. Continue to face the resistance. And sorry, we didn't get a pip card here. We've got the Maiden of Wands. So we have the Knight of Cups and the Maiden of Wands, and perhaps she has just been, you know, too much work, or she just doesn't feel comfortable to move into a relationship with her. Perhaps she is your sister. Perhaps she is your co-worker. Why are you resisting each other? Well, you work basically from, you know, different level of energy. And so this reading is really a matter of learning how to come together and how to work with each other. She is a very, very, very fiery character, very adventurous, and she doesn't stick around long. So if you want to connect with her, you need to be able to act and to reach out. And if this was a couple kind of reading, I would say that this is going to take a lot of work in order to come together. So I hope this has been of some helpfulness to you today. And once again, if you have any other pip decks that you, non-illustrated pip decks, that you would like some help with pairing oracles, please let me know in the comments below. And I look forward to talking with you about that there. Stay well, my friends. Namaste.